All right, it's 6 o'clock. I'm going to call the meeting to order. All members are accounted for. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I have no additions to the agenda. Jeff, do you have any additions to the agenda?
I do not.
I would look for a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Pete on the motion.
I'll second.
Jolynn on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, scheduled presenters for tonight. We have Mr. Steven Strauss with our MCA results.
And I've got the presentation here. Do you want a microphone? Or do you have a big board voice?
Not really want one.
Okay. You don't want one?
Not really.
Okay.
So last year I started adding it instead of just the MCA, kind of called the assessment presentation, where we added some ACT information and AP information. So I did the same thing on this one. So the first half of it is about MCA results, and then I get to know a couple of those other things. You go to the next slide, Jeff. So just some high overview things of the MCAs from just the spring of this past year in 2024. Locally, we saw almost a 5-point jump in reading. In terms of percent proficient, we saw a slight decrease in math, and the science results haven't been released yet for us to be able to talk about. Mr. Hodges and I can individually look at scores, but we can't talk about them yet, essentially. And they've made us do the math, so if we want to figure out how many percent proficient we have to individually talk about all the kids that are in each of the categories. So it'll still be probably a couple weeks before those are publicly available and can be talked about. Yeah. So for tonight, then we just have the math and the reading results. Statewide, slight decrease in both reading and math. So we saw a jump in reading, state saw a decrease in reading. We saw a slight decrease in math. State also saw a slight decrease in math. Same thing with the science. Opt-outs are not included in these results, so we have some students in the different grade levels that them and their parents decide for whatever reason that they're going to opt out of the MCAs. Those are not included in these results, so they don't count negatively against us for the purposes of what we're looking at tonight. And MTAS results are not included either. Those are tests that are taken in the spring as well. In a way similar to the MCAs, testing some of the same concepts, but they're for more students that are maybe cognitively delayed, so they have a different test that's set up for them. And in the spring, just so you know, too, the order that we do them is we do the MCA reading first, then the math, then the science. And for a couple of those grades, that's a big deal because 5th and 8th grade get it both, with all three, science, math, and reading. Next slide, Jeff. Some of the information from tonight you can pull publicly from the Minnesota Report Card website. If you ever wanted to look up really any district in the state, any specific school, if you wanted to dig down that one even, or grade level, you could just go to Google, type in Minnesota Report Card, click on that first site and kind of navigate that. Building goals, staff development, they're tailored to the needs identified by the principals, the staff development committee, and the PLCs. Mr. Hodges and I just got done with the district advisory committee this afternoon where we talked about from last year our reading goals that we had set, and I've always set reading goals again for this year for 5% growth again in the percent proficient. And then end of August, beginning of September each year, we get individual student reports that come to the districts that are just single pages that will get sent home to families soon. So that it will show the level that the student's at, and then we'll have it slightly broken up into the strands for each of the students. So instead of just knowing that they met or exceeded or did not meet within reading, it breaks it up into a little bit of, related to comprehension, they did this well. Related to vocabulary, they did this well. Those type of things. Go ahead, Jeff. So for our reading scores, compared to other districts, I will say overall, compared to other districts in the state, Dana Falls did quite well again. In comparison to other districts that touch us, Goodhue and Northfield outpaced us in reading, but we outpaced the other districts as well as the state. You can see that. And then in a couple slides I have the raw data as well that will show the numbers. So that's the reading. Math, we outpaced everybody that is around us, including the state. We did quite well there. And then here's, like I said, the raw data. So you can see just moving down there, you have the state on the top for reading and math, Cannon Falls, and then so on and so forth as you go down. Again, that reading number is off the top of my head, I think it was I said almost 5-point jump. I think it was like a 4.8% jump that we reached as a district. Math it went from, I want to say 51.1 down to 50.9, something like that, with a slight decrease. Still above the state average by a fair amount there. Both those numbers in Cannon Falls are about 5 points higher than the state average. So the next couple slides show the reading and the math. Again, we don't have anything for the science yet. Showing kind of the cohort as you go through. So you can, I got them color coded so you can see it as they go from third to fourth to fifth, etc. At the bottom of the reading, you'll notice it skips a grade. Reading goes 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 10. Math goes 3 through 8, and then grade 11. So at the bottom of each of those, you can see that there's a little bit of a jump. So the color doesn't diagonally go down the whole way because they don't take it in 9th grade for reading, and then they don't take it in 9th or 10th grade for math. So that's the individual grades there for reading, and those are the individual grades there for math. So you can see the 2025 numbers themselves, and then with the exception of 3rd grade, because that's the first year that they take it, you can see the years before, I should say, you can probably know. ACT, the ACT data that is available is 1 year behind. We get this from a state system, it's 1 year behind in terms of compiling all the data. So this is for the class of 2024. The statewide ACT composite average was 20.55, and the Cannon Falls ACT composite average was 20.35. So very close. Likely a couple questions within there that are different. So like basically at the state average. And then I've got the ACT trend there for the last 6 years total there of Cannon Falls being right around the state average. This year in 2022, slightly below, otherwise all of the other years slightly above the state average for the ACT, taken by the juniors. And Mr. Hodge, correct me if I'm wrong, was done on paper again this past spring, right?
Correct.
But it's going to maybe switch to online this spring?
It is moving online.
Online. AP, the advanced placement classes that we have in the high school. These are classes where students take them at a pretty advanced level of rigor, and they can choose to take a test in the spring. And they don't have to take the test, but if they choose to take the test, they can earn college credit depending on the score that they get. In general, a score of 3 will get you college credit at a public institution. Sometimes it's 4, especially if you're looking at a private college. 69 total students took an AP exam this past spring, and that was a total of 82 exams because we have some students that take 2 or 3 different AP classes or AP exams. 54 scores of those 82 were at a 3 or higher. So about 66% scored a 3 or higher, which is comparable with last year, and overall, I think a really good score. And 46 total students had a score of 3 or higher on at least one of these exams. So it means 46 total students last year likely earned college credit by taking at least one, some of them passing 2 or 3 exams, but 46 total students earned some sort of college credit. I don't have all the data for the CLEP tests, but CLEP is college level examination program. Those are some tests that we started doing 2 school years ago.
Last year was the second.
Okay, yeah, so this is our second year this past spring doing the CLEP test. Josh Olson and I had some doing for psychology, sociology, and then U.S. History 1 and U.S. History 2, depending on timing of the years there. And then Amanda Thompson also had some taking for biology. And I know for sure there are some kids that pass and earn college credit that way as well. I don't have all the numbers. CLEP isn't quite as easy to look up for a variety of reasons, and the teachers don't even really get an update. The students get their result, and the students find out instantly. It's a multiple choice test. So they find out instantly if they pass or not, and if they earn college credit. But they might pass with a perfect score, and they might be super excited, but they just walk out of the testing room and go home, and they don't tell. And we don't really get that result. We can look it up, But there's a lot that it takes to dig into finding those results, including access code that we haven't received yet this year that Mr. Hodges and I were trying to find recently, and we haven't received it. So, in general, there were, I know, a bunch of students that did pass the test as well for those various subjects.
Remind me what that stands for again.
College level examination program.
Does that compete with the credit they get for AP, or is that, what's the incentive to do AP class or home?
So there are some that do both. So for example, if you were taking Ms. Thompson's AP biology class, you could take the AP test, but then you won't know your results from AP till mid-July, beginning of July. CLEP, you'll know right away. And there are a lot of colleges that, let's say you ended up passing them both, you could get 3 college credits for biology, so you might not have to take, if you were going into something non-science related, you might not have to take biology in college then. But you also could use those other 3 if you pass them both, and it might count as just a general, like elective course in college. So you have 6 total credits, 3 counting towards science, 3 general elective credits. There are some that do both, there are some that do one or the other. There are some students that do self-studying and take CLEP on their own. I think it was 2 years ago too, that we became a CLEP testing site. So we offer that here, students can take that here. And there are some students that know that and they don't take an AP class, they take a regular US history with Josh Olson or regular biology with Amanda Thompson, not AP. But those teachers sometimes even talk to those students and say, hey, you're doing really well in this course. I've got some CLEP studying materials here for you. If you want, we can kind of work throughout the year to kind of prepare you for that exam. And there are some that do that as well. They might not even be in an AP class, but they take the CLEP test.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yep. Next one, Jeff? Or is that it? There we go. Any other questions?
I don't think I really have a question, but it's more or less a comment, kind of looking back at some of the scores and comparing them to some of the other schools. If I remember going back on our levy presentation on 2 of the schools that are underneath us for funding, it also seems like they have lower scores as well. So basically just kind of highlighting that in a way, just making a comment about that. And I'm assuming that you would agree that by making different cuts would possibly change our scores in these areas as well.
Yeah.
Or it definitely won't help improve.
Yeah, we'll go.
Right.
And to Clinton's point, I always like looking at this, and I like looking at Northfield, because they always, they pass every levy ever, and they invest heavily in education and math. We're outpacing them. And right, in the top 3 with reading. I think that's pretty important. I don't always compare them to our demographic of kids and whatnot, but we certainly know they invest in education, and to be right there with them, I think is pretty cool. I did have a question on, so all good things. The one thing that jumps off the page to me is the 6th graders. And what I see here is, Jeff, can you go back to this graph?
Yep.
In either math or reading. And I just, if I look back, they're probably 1st or 2nd grade during COVID, right? So so I see their score being a little lower in reading and a jump in math. And is that the correlation there? Do we think that when they were in 2nd or 1st grade, they were mostly affected by COVID potentially? And
I think there's some of that because, there were some students during that time that, between Thanksgiving and shortly after Christmas, that one we did some distance learning that time period. I think there's probably some of that at play, doing that school on Fridays. It changed the education for everyone during that time, so that could definitely be part of it. Some of our grade levels right now, when you got the last few years, looking at like the middle school ages, roughly like 4th through 8th grade with some of those big grade levels, having some of them at 3 sections for some reason, whether it was an elementary or a kid that was set up for 3 sections in this building. That doesn't help either. When 30 bodies that we're trying to learn what the concept is.
And then, sorry, last one. And maybe I missed it on here, but the ACTs are kids taking the ACTs as much as they once did, or is it flat, is it going down? I know they have to pay for it now, right? Don't we, that's what-
No, students get to take it, well, they take these,
Starting this coming year. Last year was, yeah, we passed that as far as.
So, after COVID, post-secondary institutions, a lot of them put a pause on using the ACT as a admissions criteria. So most of them still use that to determine age, like scholarships and things like that, but they don't necessarily use that as a determining factor of getting in. And when they started doing that, we started seeing our numbers of participation in ACT decline pretty rapidly. So we graduated approximately 80 kids last year, and I think there were like mid-50s of those kids that actually took the ACT. So we're seeing fewer kids take it than we did have in the past.
Sure. Thank you.
I was just gonna say the AP classes, I know, I've been told by my daughter at one point that they're very challenging. Kind of got to prep for college classes and test taking when it comes to college, so.
Yeah,
They're not easy to pass.
You can think of an AP class like taking, like AP calculus is taking first semester college calculus spread out over the course of the year in high school.
Yeah.
So it is the curriculum is a college level, elementary level college class.
And it's a nice benefit they can walk into college with credits.
Yeah. And the club is even adding more to that. For example, in U.S. history, if a kid gets a 3 or higher on the AP U.S. history exam, that's potentially 3 credits. They could also earn 3 credits passing the first semester club and the second semester club. So that's one where you could get 9 college credits walking out of high school.
It's a shout out to our teachers.
Yes.
Yeah, I just have a comment to piggyback on that. Thank you for compiling this data. I think it's great to look at all in one place. And I have 3 kids in this district. It makes me proud to say my kids go to this district for sure. Thank you for sharing that.
Any other questions? All right, thank you, Steve. We'll move on to public input. Is there anyone that would like to speak to the board? All right, I will close public input. Moving on, consideration to approve the finance report. Josh, you help us with that?
Yep. So we get the capital worksheet. Remember, this compiles all the funds in the district in the one area. So we're looking at cash balance on top is not only general fund, but also food service and community service and whatnot. Nothing that gets real exciting at this time of year, other than we see the bus lease number 7 there. That's the third 3 payments paid off, so that bus is now paid off and owned by the district. You see the normal ins and outs during the month of payroll taxes. The ideas payments are the payments from the state of Minnesota, the state aid that comes in from the metering system of the district, from the state for the district. What we see now at the end of October and beginning of November are now the second half of our property taxes. They come in 2 waves. They have estimates in there now. We usually don't get the actual amounts from the counties until generally they were going to release the wires just a couple of days before we receive them. So they have placeholders in there as the estimates for the county and the Gooding County taxes. Obviously, the lion's share of the bulk of our county is Gooding and the school district Camp Falls. I think I think slide down a little bit further. Try to last clean up for taxes and having that first part of December. And then at that point, we'll receive all of the calendar year 2025 property taxes from Gooding and Coast County. The one thing to highlight, you can see that it started out at the top of $4 million in cash, now to 2.3 at the end of December. That goes out quickly as we have things going out. The important part to realize or to know is that we do stay positive for cash flow for the fiscal year and have no need for borrowing. If you have any questions, you can certainly answer if you have.
That
for section placement?
Yeah, you can push back until our year, he said do it. So that would also be part of that cash balance is the funds received for bond for the road replacement. The section that happened in the, this would be the east end of the high school. Kind of the last section of the oldest part of the road there, and most need to be repaired. You can push back a little bit as that crew will come out to do the work, but it should be at the end of September, beginning of October, hopefully going to complete. The not ideal part is it happens during school happening. We'll take a little bit of noise, but I do my best to try to limit some of that, and it is maybe an area that's not as heavily populated in the neighborhood.
Any other questions for Josh? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the finance report.
I'll move to approve.
Luke on the motion. Jody on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consent agenda. No, items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted under one motion. In the event the board member wants to discuss any item, it will be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Jeff, could you please read the resolution for acceptance of gifts?
Yes, I would. We have $2,875 from CFYA for softball, $30 from Ken and Pam Pagel for snacks for the elementary, $60 from Ariana Garrick for snacks for the elementary, $4,569.58 from the Ed Foundation for books for special ed for Ms. Branson, $375 from the Ed Foundation for CPR certificates for Ms. Schwady, $800 from the Ed Foundation for a yearbook camera for Ms. Schwartz, $4,883.39 from the Ed Foundation for a clay unit kiln for Ms. Schweik, $681.46 from the Ed Foundation for STEM materials for Ms. O'Brien, and $892.10 from the Ed Foundation for Prodigy membership for Ms. Cleaver. And I do thank all of our generous donors for this month.
I just want to point out all of these donations that came from the Ed Foundation for those folks that went to the poker social over the weekend. This is it. This is a perfect example of where that money goes and how we get it, and so we thank the Ed Foundation immensely.
Absolutely, thank you. Anyone need anything else discussed further in the consent agenda? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Randy on the motion. Second. Luke on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Administrative reports. We will move to Mr. Strauss. Anything that you'd like to add?
Just that I mentioned that Amplify, our new literacy curriculum, getting implemented K-5 elementary. It's going well. Teachers are doing a great job with it. It is a lot. The stamina of both the teachers and the students needs to be built up a little bit because it's just more than what we're used to, which is taking some getting used to, but our teachers are doing a great job with it. I've been in all the classrooms at some point, seeing some portion of a lesson, and I think they're all doing a great job with it. But just this whole, especially running away for a few weeks, have been just a lot of them figuring out how everything fits together within the curriculum, because as much as they prepare in the summer, as much as they work at night, once you're actually doing it, it's just, for the very first time ever, fits together a little different. So it's been a lot for them, but they're doing a great job. So just kind of want to give a shout out to the K-5 teachers.
Thank you. Mr. Hodges, anything you'd like to add to your report?
Just like to highlight that we have another National Merit semifinals, which is a huge deal. That's a really big one in education. So congratulations to Charles Hick, becoming a semifinalist, and good luck with him moving on. I believe Grady Myers was also a recommended student for his score on the PSAT as well, so congratulations to both. Again, it just shows the great things we're doing.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for sharing. Community Ed and Activities Department. Reed, anything you want to add?
Just want to share that we had our first community advisory council meeting last week. It was not well attended by our group, but we still had a good discussion nonetheless. We'll be working on getting better attendance for our November meeting. We did reach out, reached out to ADC and the Learning Tree and invited them to be part of our council as well.
And we can help with the participation. All right, let me know.
One question on joining AGL, would that be for next year or?
Yes, so we tentatively, our fall schedules have not been approved yet, but we have them for our conference with Red Lake already in there. We need 6 votes to approve them, and we're currently at 5. AGL members.
Head of Maintenance, Mr. Johnson. Anything you'd like to add?
Just kind of elaborate on what Josh talked about with the roof. We just keep getting pushed back. As we all know, we've had a pretty wet summer. They're pushed back, but they're going to get here. It's actually kind of going to work out for our 30-year, I think. I'm going to try to get us to kind of go over our NBA break with that roof. Like, that's the tentative schedule right now. So if they could show up a week before NBA work, those 3 days of school and then we're off. So hopefully that works out that way. Other than that, nope, just been busy running around, doing the basic things around here. That was something to fix.
No comment. All right. Soups report.
Yes. Did you know that September is Minnesota School Board Recognition Month? And so you guys are our guiding light for student success. September is this is the press release, Minnesota School Board Recognition Month, a time to honor the dedicated men and women who serve as the guiding student success in our public schools. Throughout the state and right here in Cannon Falls area schools, school board members serve countless hours to ensure our students have access to high-quality learning and extracurricular opportunities and a public education system that helps them thrive. These public servants are chosen by their communities to govern local schools, manage multi-million-dollar budgets, and make decisions that directly impact the future of our students and families. In Cannon Falls area schools, our board oversees a budget, supports over 1,100 pre-K through 12 students, leads roughly 200 employees, and stewards 4 district buildings, a significant responsibility they approach with care, integrity, and a deep commitment to service. School board members don't seek the spotlight, but they play a critical civic role. They help set the vision for our schools, shape educational priorities, and make tough decisions, often after extensive deliberation and study. From approving curriculum to maintaining school facilities and navigating state and federal laws, their leadership touches every corner of our school system. Their efforts often go unseen, but their impact is felt in every classroom, every program, and every student success story. This month and every month, we encourage our community to say thank you to these dedicated individuals. Their service makes local control of public education possible, and their leadership helps shape the future of our schools and community. We proudly recognize the members of the Cannon Falls Area School Board for their service and commitment. Clinton Choquist, Luke Winchell, Jolene Williams, Rondi Showbloom, Jody Strain, and Keith Swenson. Thank you guys for your service and dedication. To learn more about the work of our school board, please visit our website. On behalf of the School Board Association and in honor of the Minnesota School Board recognition, thank you for your service to Minnesota Public Schools and being a guiding light for student success.
So you're going to retake yourself?
It was a press release. I had my press secretary.
I would have taken a lot more to the heart if it was written by him. All right.
Sincerely, though, thank you guys for your service. That I did.
Well, you got anything else in your report?
I don't, besides the action I've been talking about.
move on to action items. I guess this first one's really not an action item. I don't know if you want to read that or do you?
Sure, I can read that. Lori put this one up. Lori, wave to us in the back there. Summer business, 2025 summer food program recap. We are so proud to share that in the 2025 summer food program, we served an incredible 12,245 meals over the course of 46 days. This outstanding student achievement was made possible through the hard work, dedication, and teamwork of our amazing nutrition services staff. Amen to that. Their commitment ensured that children in our community had access to nutritious meals all summer long. This was a true success thanks to them and to all of the students and families who supported our meal program. Please take a moment to show your appreciation and say thank you, lunch lady, today.
Absolutely.
I'll just comment on that too. That's been one of the food program has been one thing that to me has been pretty important and I wanted to kind of see overhaul, but unfortunately with limited funds, we haven't had a chance to do that. But through Lori's work and the grants and the time she puts in, we've made strides in a way that hasn't cost the district a ton of money. This is just really cool. So thank you, Lori, for being able to get this done.
All right, first action item. Consideration to approve the 25 to 27 Teachers Master Agreement.
Are you talking on this?
I guess I can talk on this one. I guess I'll start off by saying, usually teacher negotiations aren't probably the greatest experience all the time. I will say this time it went very well. We got something settled in 2 meetings, which I'm told that, I don't know if that's ever happened or if it's been a very long time since that's happened.
Since I've been here, it has not happened that quickly. I would say it's been 10 to 12 meetings. I've been in other districts where we've had short, but this is a very good experience for sure.
I appreciate the urgency from both parties and the willingness to come to an agreement so quick through good dialogue. Neither parties, I don't think, wanted to drag this out. Didn't want this to be a distraction during, not only just during the year, but also coming into a levy vote. So I will just commend all parties involved. It went very well. So I guess what I'll just share is for what we came up with was a salary schedule increase for the year 25-26 of 1.5%, and for 26 to 27 year 0.925%. So that ends up being about a total of 2.5. So there's not much else I really have to add about that, unless Luke, if you have any comments about it, or?
No, I agree kind of what you said. It's my first time going through negotiations or being in the meetings. Like Clinton said, I was braced for conflict and whatever that was going to look like, just because I know, both sides are advocating for each other and we all want to meet in the middle. I was really impressed with the work that Josh and Jeff and Clinton had put in to get to a spot where we, and come to a spot where we felt like we were being as fair as we could with the limitations that we had, and credit to the union themselves for hearing us out and understanding where we're coming from. I think I was impressed, and a lot of my work was put in by both sides. And it was very smooth.
Any questions for me? If not, I would look for a motion to approve the 25-27 Teachers Master Agreement.
I'll make a motion.
Joe Lynn on the motion. Jody on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration to approve the assurance of compliance equity laws.
And each year, the board needs to approve the assurance of compliance of each of these laws, that we are following these laws, that go from, like, for example, the Civil Rights Act of 1964, through the Age Discrimination Act, Section 504 of the Rehabilitation Act of 73, through Minnesota Human Rights Act, Minnesota statutes that deal with discrimination in athletic programs, IEP planning. Basically, it's stating that we are not being discriminatory here at school, and I can assure you that we are following these policies. So I just need your approval on these, and we will get that up to the state.
Any questions at all for Jeff? If not, I'll look for a motion to approve the assurance of compliance equity laws.
I'll make the motion.
Randy on the motion. Pete on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration to approve the 25-26 MREA membership.
Last year, we took MREA on as a trial membership. For the last many years, we've been in C as our advocate at the state capitol, and C is Schools for Equity and Education. I am recommending that we move to MREA membership full-time with your blessing from the board, and we will move away from C. And I want to speak again to the input that we have toward that, but I'm recommending we move toward MREA membership.
I think only one of us was able to make it last year, so Jill Lynn, and I mean, we have another conference coming up that I think a few more of us are going to be going on. Is there any comments that you'd like to make to one?
Honestly, when we went last fall, it was very eye-opening, and I think super helpful, because MRE is more dedicated to rural schools. So a lot of the sessions that we went to, a lot of the talking points and stuff was really geared towards our stuff. All of the struggles that we go through and all the struggles that the other rural schools kind of go through. So I think that was immensely helpful. There was a lot of good information. There was, I think it was good. I think it's a good partnership to have. So I'm excited that for you guys that are going this go around. I think it'll be good. You guys will like it.
Any other questions or comments? If not, I'd look for a motion to approve the 25-26 MREA membership.
I'll make the motion to approve.
I'll second.
Luke on the motion, Jill Lynn on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Consideration to approve the fiscal year 27 proposed levy.
This is the initial levy. The final levy will not be set until the Truth in Taxation meeting in December. And I'm sorry, what was, the Truth in Taxation is, Lori, do we have a date for that? Is it December 17th? December 16th, whatever that Monday is. It'll be during our regularly scheduled board meeting. But tonight, the board needs to approve the preliminary levy. And the proposed levy is slated to actually drop, if I can find the sheet here. 15th. December 15th. We'll make sure we get that correct. The levy is actually slated to drop by 2.49% at the final one. If obviously we pass the operating levy, that number will change for the final levy. But as of right now, I need the school board to approve authorizing a max levy, because the levy sheet will change between now and the final levy in December. And you can always go down in your levy, but you can't go up after tonight's meeting. So the school board can be authorized the maximum at this point. That means anything, Josh?
You are authorized max. If you set a limit, you're set at minimum. So you can't go up or down from there. The levy would be the part that is going to hit the local taxpayer. The other portion that we receive is generally state aid, which is all the slight decrease, generally mostly attributed to some enrollment, but everything that is up to date is in there, so things like LTFM, debt service, and those items are put inside this levy, but by approving the max, it allows there to be some change. As either numbers are finalized for ADMs, aggregated membership, which really drives all school funding, as well as some cleanup things for possibly the LTFM or debt service or any of the calculations made for community ed that allows that cleanup to happen before the truth in taxation. Not to be alarmed, there is a larger decrease in community ed. There's an aid levy mix. While the levy goes down for community ed, the aid portion goes up, so really their funding stays neutral for community ed. So, and then with debt service, they collect 105% for debt, assuming that there's going to be some delinquent taxes. Generally, in our community, we again have a debt excess. Those funds then go back to taxpayers. So oftentimes you'll see a little ebb and flow with our debt service. We might have an increase in 1 year, and then a decrease as they take back some of these funds from the taxpayers, which ends up kind of helping not only the school's finances, but the taxpayers in general in the county. Whereas generally what we see, $20,000 over a $3 million budget is really not a whole lot of change, really comes neutral for general. As Mr. Sampson said, significant change, I recommend passes, and that will all be in the truth and taxation, the final levy that's about $1 set at that time.
Yeah, one question to your point, because I had a question the other day from the community regarding the levy we're going out for. When the county collects taxes in excess, and then it goes back, how does that look like for an individual when they look at their taxes they're paying in, and then how do they get, where does that come back?
Yeah, so it,
Or if that's a county
I
question.
answered all the county taxes, I'd be in a much different.
Sure.
But when we certify our levy and say tax will down because we have that excess, so we decrease that levy, that just means that we're levying less that year. So the individual taxpayer would see less of a tax for the school district in their tax, our tax statement. On a year where we had an increase, let's say it went up 7%, then the individual tax would be levy more for the school district that year. I don't know if you can actually pull it out. And I think sometimes they make it that way to try to find the answers out sometimes. But what essentially happens is what we levy, if there's a decrease, that would impact the school portion levy and then property tax rate.
Which may be hidden by the county or the city increases.
Correct.
You have to look at it specifically on the school.
Yeah, it's an important part when we look at our property tax statements. You'll see the county, the city, and the school. So it's important when you look at those, what really is the driver of the increase. Sometimes you see it in I look at my own, a huge or large property tax increase. But it's really important to discern which sections it's coming from. It's really easy to put a target on the school. It's the only one that I as a taxpayer can say yes or no to. The county, the city, goes on there and built it. So it's really important to look at property taxes and make sure you and look at individual sections.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yep.
Any other questions for either Josh or Jeff? If not, I would look for a motion, and I'd like to know for what amount, if it's for the max or something.
I would recommend the maximum, just to reiterate that.
I'll make a motion for the max.
I'll second the motion.
I'll second.
He's on the second. Motion is made for the maximum of the levy.
Any other discussion?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Motion carries. Consideration to approve the HVAC grant.
So the state of Minnesota has a grant this year, and, well, there's more than one grant, obviously, but one of the ones that we want to apply for is that we can apply for up to $50,000 per building of matching grant dollars. So we can get $100,000 worth of HVAC work done in each of our buildings for the cost of $50,000. And we can plan for that through our LTFM funds that we currently get from the state, so we would be basically doubling that amount. We would pay $50,000 per building, and we would get $100,000 worth of work that would need to be done. Stephen Johnson has been working on applying for that and working with the State Connect guy with that. But we do need your approval for us to apply for that grant as part of one of the steps there.
Does that money have to be spent within a certain timeframe?
We have to apply for it by the end of this calendar year, by December 31st, I believe, if I remember correctly. But we can spend that money over 3 different fiscal years if we want to. So get it all, yeah, we can spread that out.
Does the CCC count as a third building?
It does. But we got to be able to figure out where we're at with that after the election.
You just pull it, it's a matching grant, so whatever we spend down there, it's got to, they're matching it, so if we spend 50, they're going to spend 50, well, do we want to spend 50 on it?
Right.
So that's where we're at with that. We haven't really talked about doing any of that down at the CCC. We're mostly looking at doing that up here and then down at the elementary. Our systems are a little older, 20-some years on some of them, so we're going to do a lot of reconditioning, which this grant will help with that. So that's a lot of time and a lot of energy as far as manpower. Because you got a guy behind the computer, you got 2 guys out on the roof or in the school finding these different units, making sure everything's matching up right, the airflow's going good, amps are running right. So it's going to make us a lot better efficiency factor in the school, so it's going to save us a lot of money in the long run as well once they get that all tuned up. So that's pretty cool that they allow that to happen through that, because we are sitting pretty good around here with air conditioning and heating, and our chillers are looking pretty good. We did some fixing on that last year, so it really helps that we can do a little reconditioning with everything down there, like the thermostats, the sensors, our computer programs that run everything. So it's a really cool grant, and I think Stephen and Social are doing something right here.
Does this particular grant have to be spent in like one lump sum type thing? Like, it has to all go for like one bill, or can we split it up like a couple different projects?
Correct. Yeah, and we sign it however we want. They just match the dollar amount as long as it's an approved fix. And I've already run through with Charlie Schneider through the state of Minnesota on our ideas of some things. Like one of them up here would be we're going to revamp our hot water system. We got hot water meters in here that are from 2009. So we're fixing on these things, and they're not very energy efficient anymore. So we got these nice big energy efficient boilers. So we're going to match that with a plate boiler that's going to control all our hot water in school. So a lot more energy efficient. So you're throwing $1 out, but you're also going to be getting back over the long run.
My last question would be to pile on to the CCC is the bus garage. That building is what it is, and I don't know what that. But I just keep it on your radar.
Oh yeah, no, I'd love to spend some money down at that bus garage. It's been hurt for a long time. It's almost at the point of not spending any more money on it and just kind of maybe start somewhere new eventually. But as our levy is saying, we don't have the money for that right now. I wish we did. We're very fortunate we can park our buses inside first off. So that's a plus. They may not look nice down there, but they do keep the weather off of all of our buses. So yes, that's all in the back of my head. We do have 4 buildings in this district that 2 of them are well kept, and 2 of them are starting to see that we're running out of money here, and we need some more kids, and help us out a little bit that way. So
thank you.
Yep.
I know the middle school and high school are technically $1 million for business. We segmented out so that to get additional grants specific for the high school, middle school, and the elementary, or you have to go by how the building is structured.
Gotta be physical.
It's physical, so you go. All right. Sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. Nice try.
Any other questions? No, I look for a motion to approve the HVAC grant.
I'll make a motion.
Jolene on the motion.
I'll second.
Jody on the second. Any other discussion?
Thank you to whoever found that.
Absolutely. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. All right, we've come to the end of the meeting. Some informational items. Next school board meeting, October 13th. We will be back in the boardroom right at 6 o'clock. If there's nothing anyone else has to add?
That is the night of the public meeting also.
Oh, that is the next public meeting? I thought that was later in
The 13th, yeah.
The 13th.
Oh, it is? Okay, never mind. We will be back here in the auditorium. All right, if no one has anything else, I'd look for a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Just one of you.
So I'll second it.
Pete on the motion. Luke on the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, everyone.